Okay, this is day 168, part 3. Why is George so obsessed with this basmati rice? Well, the rat line goes like this. It comes into the port of Montreal. The Hells Angels, Trois Rivières, manage that whole thing. It's actually an abandoned army base with the name of Hochelaga, I believe, Ochelaga. But it's coming in UN containers. It may be humanitarian aid containers. But anyway, I believe that the Hells Angels Trois Rivières runs that whole rat line all across Canada. I believe the Quebec killings were actually done by the Canadian Hells Angels at the mosque in January of this year. I think the kid was just a patsy. I've worked on this a long time, actually. I knew people that were on the other side of the rat line, down on the Hells Angels side of the rat line in New York City. And if you've seen the movie Coyote Ugly, it's about all these kids kind of moving to New York to follow their dreams, sort of thing. And they come down and they see this bar, Coyote Ugly. Well, that is actually the base of the Hells Angels in New York. And the only part they left out of the movie was the Hells Angels base of operations. And that is kind of like the enforcer level. There are a lot of other groups that work with the FBI that are volunteers that work and help do surveillance and so forth, and have no idea of this underworld that the Hells Angels get involved in. But the Rice Line actually goes down to New York City, I believe, Port of New York, and also over land routes through Canada. Now, the connection to Long Island killer case is that those women are provided from that Coyote Ugly bar and so forth. They're targeted there. There's a service, a limo service, I believe, when I looked at it back in 2003. This is before the women's bodies were discovered in Gilgo Bay, Gilgo, Gilgo Bay, excuse me. This is before the bodies were discovered. They were targeted there. There was some kind of Turkish limousine service, and the girls were, promised things with, modeling opportunities, Fashion Week, etc. Oh, you should meet all these people out in Long Island. Then there was these massive parties where they would rent out these huge mansions for a week. They would totally destroy the place. The first couple of days, my roommate was a server at one of these, many of these things. Jeffrey Epstein, some of them, and they were just massive parties, very high end, high scale. The first 2 days, then the next couple of days would be kind of more the Gladio units. These people that are kind of involved in, they think they're doing the right thing. They're working with the FBI. They're surveillance specialists 1 and 2, and they think they're doing a great thing. And there's these women there that are drugged. These women that are invited out from New York. And they're just kind of these, being gang raped. And at the very end, the last 3 days is when, these are rumors now. And again, I'm on working theory at this point. But that's where the ritual, when people are being accepted in the gang, the women are tortured. And if you look at all the victims of the Long Island killer, you'll find that they were tortured for days. Not just a few hours. They were tortured for days, and a lot of times when they get the masking tape over the mouth, they would hyperventilate with just being able to breathe through their nose, so they'd actually drill a hole through their hyoid. So Shannon Gilbert, I believe, had a hole drilled through her hyoid. So it's not a good way to die, and that case. She was being gang raped, the Shannon Gilbert case, she was being gang raped and trying to get away. The police doctor, was named Hackett. He was the one administering and drilling all the holes in these hyoids. So he's one of the people involved. And, James Burke, being the police chief, is one of the people involved. But this was way more than that. These were women provided for parties for oil executives coming into the city of New York at the Council of Foreign Relations. They were the consolidated contractors. They were the Petrofax of the world. I do believe that Ravi Rahman, who currently is the Syrian Observatory on Human Rights, his father was at many of these kind of gang rape party, whatever you want to call it. And I also believe Rahman himself was also part of it. I don't know about the Petrofac CEO, but it's kind of like that eyes wide shut thing, and you can't believe it's true, and there's just no no human who would think that kind of cruelty was possible. But again, if you implant a revenge motive, the CIA is so good at this. If you implant a revenge motive in saying that somehow this person was connected to a bad family or they did something wrong, it doesn't have to be true. Humans will act on a revenge motive. So that's it. So I've had like 10, Hell's Angels buzz me on the way here, and about 10 of McCabe's well-meaning bike club guys buzz me, or missed me by 1 foot and so forth. So I thought, well, I better get this out and not sit on this any longer.